Oh, that was loud. Aluna, the first time chatting and you're going to blow my eardrums? What is that?
That's how I like to start things.
Well, it's an honor meeting you. Jeez. This is a horrible first time meeting, Aluna. Let me just say that right now. By the way, did you know that there is a device to help with your lung health called Aluna?
What? I need that.
See, the things you learn from chatting with me and from you Googleizing.
What? It's a device?
Yeah, it's some device. When I was Googling stuff, it just popped up as like the first thing.
You know what? There's a water filter called Aluna.
So this is all where you got your name from, right? Don't lie.
Yes.
Don't lie.
Yeah. My parents were like, have you checked out this lung improvement device? It has a great name.
Forget that our child is going to take over the music world. Have you checked out this lung device?
No, but seriously, my dad wanted to call me after a carpet shop. There was a name on a carpet shop. It was something like, I don't know, Charisse or whatever. My mom was like, no.
I think my mom wanted to call me Brianna, I think because they were expecting a girl, and that's where Brian came from. What is wrong with our parents?
They love to tell us things like that.
Well, Aluna, it is an honor finally meeting you. Welcome to America's Dance 30 for the first time. Congratulations on the 3-year anniversary of your album, which is so incredible.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're talking about Renaissance, but
no, I meant to say 3 month. Hold on. Let's start this all over.
3 years since Renaissance. I was like, wow, okay, let's talk about that.
This is a horrible first time meeting, Aluna. Let me just say that right now. Let's pretend that you didn't blow my eardrums. Let's pretend that our parents did name us properly. Let's pretend this never happened. Aluna, welcome to America's Dance 30 for the first time.
Thank you very much.
Aluna, I'm already exhausted. Can we just end this now? There is so much to congratulate you on. Congratulations on the 3-month anniversary of your album, Mycelium, which is incredible. Congratulations on the Mycelium tour that you have going on and the huge Red Rocks show that you had last month. P.S. How was that? Was that your first time?
That was my first time, and I had remembered being in Denver and going to just visit the Red Rocks. And I saw the place that I went to, and I really just saw it as like a really beautiful place. And then I kind of found out that, you know, people perform there, and I was like, where? Like, what, in the rock? Like,
so
what?
you saw it from like the outside looking in?
Yeah, just like, you know, walking around looking at the Red Rocks. And I was thinking back, I was like, did I miss the amphitheater? Like, how did I miss that? And I really was like, I just didn't have any frame of reference for like what it was really going to be like until I went and just saw those crazy steps that just, they look, when no one's sitting in them, it looks really wild. It kind of looks like a studio soundproofing, just because it's really cool. And the Red Rocks just like caressing the sides, like it's amazing.
And how was it performing on that stage?
It was beautiful. I had 2 different slots. I had one like nighttime epic slot where it was like all the lights, everything. And then I had one like full daytime one. And that was really, really different. I suddenly found myself like switching up my set completely to like, what's like a day rave vibe quickly? So it was really fun to see it in two different lights.
Yeah, so I've only been there once, and we were shuttled to the Cascade and Deadmau5 show, so I never saw like the outskirt like you did. So I only saw the inside. And did you try going up the steps?
In the theater?
Yeah, in it. Did you try doing it?
A little bit, but I had my 3-year-old daughter with me and she follows me everywhere. So I didn't get too far.
Well, be happy because it is exhausting going up those steps.
Ticket to the back. I know. I was like, I can't even see anyone who's sitting at the back, but they can see me.
But it is so worth it going up to the top and looking down and seeing everything with the city behind as the backdrop. It is just incredible, that view.
Well, I have to get back there. I have to get back there and play again because it really is a magical, magical place.
Well, all that aside, last but certainly not least, congratulations on Running Blind going #1. That is so incredible.
It's so good. I've been plotting ways to like print it out and frame it because it needs to go up on my wall because it's been on my, like, you know, your little diary list of like things I would like to have in my achievement bag, and nice big giant tick, but I need the image.
Now, is this your first #1?
Yeah.
How is that even possible? What kind of crap is going on with this chart?
That's why I want to frame it.
Well, I can't wait to talk about this song and find out how it was born with Tchami and Kareen Lomax. But before we talk all about Running Blind, let's get to know Aluna a little better with Finky's firsts.
Okay.
So I love finding out the origin story of artists. Is it true that you actually started as a flexologist?
A reflexologist, yes.
Reflexologist.
Yes, and I still use it today. My daughter was coughing her guts out. She's got terrible allergies. So in the middle of the night, I went in there and massaged her lung area, and she slept through the rest of the night.
So what took you from being a reflexologist to music?
Here's the thing. When you announce to your parents or whoever's looking after you that you want to have a music career, they're like...
They're like, we should have named you after the carpet store. Yeah, carpet salesman would have been better. And then the first thing they're like going to say is like, well, you should have a backup plan though. You should have a backup plan. I was like, oh yeah. And then I was like, what could be the worst backup plan possible? Because in the realm of complementary therapy, you've got massage, general massage skills, right up there, #1. Go through all of them, and at the bottom, you're going to find reflexology. So did you do that so there was no backup?
It was not a backup at all, even though I lived off the money that I earned from being a reflexologist. But I mean, it was hand to mouth. I mean, oh God, that not foot to mouth. It was foot to mouth.
I told you this interview is doomed from the beginning.
But yeah, my clients were not abundant because no one's going to, like, I mean, maybe more so now, but if it was an option at a clinic, people weren't just like going, oh, let me do reflexology. They were always choosing massage. So I'd get like one client and be like, that will feed me for the week. Thank you.
And now there are stretch labs all over the place. And that's reflexology, correct?
No. Reflexology is where you've got like a map of the body on the bottom of your feet and you massage those points and you're really kind of unlocking the body's power to heal itself by being super relaxed.
Well, while I was you Googleizing Aluna and found the lung device, I probably should have you Googleized reflexology to see what it was all about. But before all that, when you were growing up, when you were a child, was music the first thing you wanted to get into, or was there something else you wanted to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a hairdresser and a makeup artist and a fashion designer.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So what happened again? How did you parlay?
Well, my teachers all laughed me out of the room on Careers Day.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there was no real deterring me from the arts in general. I tried a bit of acting, not my forte. I kind of wanted to do music, but I wasn't qualified in all of the like main instrument things because funnily enough, I do get a lot of stage fright, but it actually only affects my hands. So any instrument that I had to use my hands with, like, have you ever been really high and your hands are just like big bananas or just like they're just not doing anything?
Right now.
That's what happens to me when I have to do either a performance or a grade or something like that. So I just couldn't get forwards with it because of the stage fright.
And that still goes on now?
Yes.
Wow.
If you ever see me playing an instrument on stage, just know that I'm literally dealing with sausage fingers that are shaking.
Well, you do a great job of hiding it.
Well, my voice never showed it. My knees could be knocking, I could have left my body completely, but my voice will still, it's just a tool that's not actually linked to my psychology for somehow.
That is so incredible. Well, as I mentioned earlier, of course, your album came out a few months ago, Mycelium. You've been on the tour for that. You've got a ton of music out right now, including More Baby with Chris Lake, which I absolutely love. Such an amazing vibe to that song. But do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Well, and I've seen my daughter do this. It's funny because we all get taught these nursery rhymes really, really young. And so I would imagine a lot of people have this memory, but I just remember thinking that I'd written a song, but what I'd done like violets are roses are red, violets are blue, but I like changed the lyrics or something. And I was like, wow, yes, me. But the first original song I wrote was when I was 8, and it was about the sun. I still know it now.
What are the chances of you revisiting it?
I might sing it to my daughter. I think she'll appreciate it.
That is so awesome. Now, of course, you have performed all over the world, not only solo, but of course, when you were doing stuff as Aluna George. Do you remember your first time performing?
Let's see. First time performing ever? Yes, I do. Yes. So we had a local pub open mic night. And again, I didn't have my guitar and piano skills going. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do a cappella. Nobody does this, okay? This is not no. But I was like, what else am I going to do? So I get up in the middle of this like raucous pub. Everyone's drinking and chatting and yada. And the vulnerability of my voice just like cut through everybody like a knife, and they just stopped and they were like, wow, this girl looks so terrified. How fascinating. And they just like watched me sing a cappella, and they were like, oh my God, it's so cute. She's so nervous. It's so sweet. And I was like, I got you.
I'm sure all of that was just going inside your head, because I'm sure all of them were like, she is amazing.
They could have been, but I think it was amazing for anyone to have the audacity to stand up there and sing a cappella. Like, what?
It was like a poetry slam.
Yeah. Like, oh.
So, of course, you have worked with amazing producers and artists. But do you remember the first dance song that made you fall in love with EDM?
I would say Faithless, I Can't Get No Sleep. But I was also, I don't even know the timeline, but I was into drum and bass. Me and my friend were obsessed with Talvin Singh, we would try and find these albums of this artist, and then also Ronnie Size, the classics. I wasn't that into garage. I think it's because you had to be in the club to really get it, and I couldn't get into clubs. I couldn't get into clubs. There were no clubs. Oh my God, I just lived in the sticks.
Now, what about
Do you mean a pub with some music playing? I'm like, no.
What about Aphrodite and AK-1200? Were you into them as well?
Not recalling.
If I remember, because I've been in the dance music scene for, God, a couple of decades now. And if I remember drum and bass back then, Aphrodite and AK-1200 were like big back around the same time as Ronnie Size. But that was drum and bass then.
I was like really terrible at names. And I remember that because there was just like the few times that I got to enter the world, it was just like music playing. No one was telling you names or anything like that. And I remember I had this really strong memory of being at like my older friend's house, and they would be playing drum and bass on the decks and stuff. And I would sneak along and I'd be watching, and I'd be like, can I have a go? And I'd be like, no, get off. And I was just like, how? This is so unfair. And that is what eventually motivated me to go to like a school and learn how to DJ. Because I was like, yo, MFs won't let me on the decks, yo. How am I supposed to learn? Okay, I'll pay money.
And where do you think those people are now?
They are chilling.
Exactly.
Like, fammed up, 9 to 5.
Well, you've got a number one. Well, finally in Finky's first, in honor of Running Blind going number one, what is the first thing you do when your soul is down?
I did move to a place with really good sunshine.
Oh, needed. Definitely needed.
And when I'm touring, which is often where I get down just because of like tiredness and things like that, I have to lock into anything that is remotely fascinating. And you can find stuff everywhere that will just, if you can just look at it for a couple of seconds and then look more, you look more and more and more, and it just opens up your brain to just like an unrelated beauty, right? To whatever it is you're thinking about. So I'll be in airports, and they do put art in airports. They really do. It's everywhere. As long as you look up, generally, that's where they hang stuff. Somebody somewhere, an artist somewhere has created something and hung it for you to look at. And I was in an airport the other day, and they had like a full water feet, like a, I don't know, man-made waterfall. Thank you. Yeah. And like birds hanging from the ceilings. And that's how I kind of trick myself into moving out.
Let's talk about this smash. You know, you and Kareen Lomax sound so amazing together. How was this smash born between you guys and Tchami?
Okay, so when Beyonce won Best Dance Album of the Year last year, we were sitting at a big sort of, well, not a celebrating table, but it was a table for Diploma's team, and we're all part of that crew. So we were sitting there at the end of the table, and we were like, it seems very controversial to say this, but I'm actually happy Beyonce won. Because don't forget, like, well, the thing is, like, I've been on a bunch of Grammy-winning albums, but if you're not the main named person, you can have a finger, like, basically. So I wasn't really bothered either way. Technically we were losing, but it was definitely a win for me to see a Black woman break this almost a curse of a Black woman never, ever, ever having won this category in the entire existence of the category, which I was like, excuse me, as a stat, that's a little bit lame. Like, we need to start. Let's start. And me and Kareen Lomax were like, well, first I stood up and was like, I'm happy about this. And then we left, got in the car, and like, Kareen was like, let's find some parties. I was like, We are not invited to any party. She's like, don't worry about that. Driving around and we're just having a great time, just celebrating being Black women and like looking forward to the future of dance music and having a seat at the table. But you know, you have to there's an unlock to access freedoms that you fought for, and it's sort of inside you. And I had started this song with Tchami already, and the next morning I just really got this essence from Kareen that she really understood that unlock, and I hadn't completed the song. I kind of filled all the gaps, but I was like, I'm not happy with this. And so I asked her to come into the studio with me and help finish off this story. And it ended up being much, much more of an integrated type of collaboration. As you can hear, she starts the song and then I jump in, and then we jump in and over each other and just weave through the song. And that's not a kind of structure I'd done before, but I just went with it because I was like, this story is being told in a very natural way by all three of us, and just let it unfold how it wants to be told. Like, you know, because as an artist, I could have been like, no, my verse is going at the beginning.
I love the Valley Girl
It's
voice.
my story about freedom. I tell it. But the purpose of that song is for it to unlock people in just the right way. And so I feel like I did my job by standing back a little bit and allowing the song to speak for itself.
Yeah, you guys did an amazing job. I love how you even harmonize with Kareen on some of the vocals, which is awesome. Now, when you say that you and Tchami started working on this back around the Grammys time, were you talking about back in January 2023 or 2022?
2022.
Holy crap! You started working on it that long ago?
No, it was January this year. So it's 23, sorry. Wow, I was like, no, it doesn't take that long.
Well, I mean, there are some songs that, you know, are sitting on people's hard drives for like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, Mycelium definitely took that long. On average, for me, you know, it takes like 2 to 3 years to write an album.
Gotcha. Now, something I love to find out about songs is how many different versions there are from when you start working on it, all the tweaking that goes on to when it's finally put out. Do you know what the final V was of Running Blind?
Well, because we actually, it was a very transatlantic process. So we didn't have the opportunity to, and we're all touring, right? So it's interesting because we didn't have to mess around with it. We had Tchami sent me the track. I did a whole song. Then Kareen did a whole song. Then we put it all together. And then I was like, Tchami, the end is like a whole minute and a half long. And he was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That is amazing. That's so awesome that it came together so easily.
Yeah. I mean, me and Tchami go way back. So it was really nice to have like a little reunion. But then when you already know somebody like that, you don't need to back and forth about it.
Well, congratulations on the success of Running Blind. Not only that, but congratulations on all of the music you've got out right now. What is next for Aluna?
What's next on the menu? What I've been working on is a live band version of my show. At the moment, I have what I love to do is take my show to the club. And for that, I love to do this hybrid set of like, make it rave, make it DJ with vocals, real like good party. But I'm a live band girly, and I've missed my band. And so this year I've done 2 performances with my live band, and this is much more like when you see like that live electronic kind of stuff. Acts like Simeon Mobile Disco, or I'm trying to think. There's not many of them, but like I imagine that I haven't actually seen how the Chemical Brothers do a show, but
right.
it feels live with those analog kind of situations. It's really hard to get right because, you know, it's electronic, but in the studio for the writing process of this, we did work with live analog instrumentation in the writing process. And so it has worked really well to bring that back when we're doing the live show. And it's a really special show. I've had a really, really wonderful time doing that. And so that's going to be another sort of string to my live show bow that people can look forward to next year. I think I'll probably, you know, jump back in the studio when all the dust has settled. I think while the jingle bells are still jingling, I might, you know, pop back in there. That's the kind of music industry downtime when we get back in the studio. But I do already have a couple of like cute surprises lined up before the end of the year, or right at the top of next year.
Well, I can't
Ready
wait
to mingle.
Can't wait to see all of that. You know, just really quickly going back to the live aspect of shows, I think the first live aspect of a show that I saw of an EDM show was either Hybrid or Uber Zone, and they were doing the drums live, and I'm watching this going, what is happening? It was amazing. It was just seeing everything being blown up by live drums. I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah, it's a really interesting experience because I think what you do get from live instrumentation is that feeling in the room where it like hits you, the reverb hits you in such different ways. And so when you're doing that with live dance music drums, it's the harmonics are just like going crazy with your ears and your chest, and it's really good fun. I feel like a lot of people are interested in doing this in the future. It's quite a niche. It's quite a niche thing to get to really put together. I was lucky enough to meet two guys from Paris who are like my brothers, who have been working on like really honing their craft and like, how do you really get that electronic sound live without compromising that really electronic sound? We don't want like, it's not meant to be like an indie rock band. It's got to sound like the club, like the rave. But it does give you the opportunity to bring in this like raw, improvised, crazy, frenzied stuff in there that you can't do necessarily. I mean, you can use filters and you can put some reverb and delay on your mixer and, you know, turn it up to 11. But when you're with a group of people doing that, it's like a whole different experience.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this show. Congratulations on everything. It is so awesome finally meeting you. Aluna, thank you so much for your time with us on America's Dance 30.
Thank you for having me. This has been a real pleasure. Thank you.